Amazing. The sensitivities that they showed. And I'd like to thank all the people who supported us, those who are behind the scenes, who worked so hard to enable us, to thank all of you for being part of this important and life-changing event. Thank you all, and thank you, Shahzada, and thank you, Suleman. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Hussain Saab. Anybody could ever match Shahzada in empathy, it would be his wife, Christine. She was his rock and his moral center and his best friend. She's also one of the bravest people I've ever met.
Thank you, Imam. Dear family, dear friends, dear colleagues and well-wishers, thank you so much for joining us today for the prayer for Shahzada and Suleman. I'm deeply grateful for all your support, for all the prayers and the kind words you sent all over the last few days. It's almost overwhelming. So the first time I met Shahzada was in the year 2000 at a barbecue in university. It was loud and it was smoky, and we both stepped out to get some fresh air. We started talking, and I was drawn by his curiosity. He wanted to learn everything there is about Germany from a German. I should add that he knew actually more than I did. When he told me he's from Pakistan, I completely blanked. I had no idea where Pakistan was. Which I obviously then learned over our marriage where it was, and he changed that. Fast forwards 2 years from the day we first met, Shahzada and I got married in Lahore in Pakistan. And he was so grumpy that day, because he hated being in the center of attention. But he braved it like a pro, and he developed what he called his Shadi smile, which looks good on paper, but it's a fake smile. The day Suleman was born, I remember Shahzada waiting patiently in the corner while his family cooed and fussed over the baby. And I just connected through the corner of my eyes with him. We just looked at each other and we were like, yeah, that's what it is. But when he then held his son for the first time, I just knew these two belonged together. His expression was like that he found a long-lost companion for his adventures to come. Suleman was an old soul. Even as a toddler, an old energy sort of seemed to surround him. I remember one holiday, we went with the whole family to Malaysia, to Formosa. I think he was 4. I had an upset stomach. I think some of the food didn't become me. And I was lying down on the sofa, feeling sorry for myself, when Suleman came to me, kissed me on my cheek, and then he started digging in his toy box and brought out this wooden toys with circles. And he just started randomly placing them on my body, some on my stomach, one on my head. And I just let him. But then he looked at his handiwork he's done with his tongue sticking out like he always do when he was concentrating. And then he stepped back And then he announced, Mama, you're fine now. And I was. Because he placed those rings on all the chakras. And I was floored. He was only 5, 4, 5. And then we had Alina, and as the children grew older, Shahzada seemed to become younger. His curiosity knew no bounds. He would walk around the garden with them to find ladybirds and discuss worms and insects and for hours. He would sit on them with the grass, cross-legged, and just explain every single detail on an insect's wing and or the soil itself, and the children just loved just sitting around with him and discussing everything into depth. One of his favorite sentences is, fighting ne karo, loving karo. Which means, don't fight but love. That's how he was as a family, like loving to one another, best friends to each other, and collectively curious about nature and life and its many mysteries. In this spirit, these two best friends, because that's what they were, embarked upon this last voyage, their final journey together. These past few days have been incredibly challenging for us as a family. So, emotions from excitement to shock to hope and finally to despair and grief. During this time, so many people came together, and I would like to thank the tireless efforts made by the government and private organizations, the ships, the divers, everything, and countless individuals. Every single message I received oozed with love and support. And I know that in the time to come that they will help me to mend my heart a little bit at a time. Shahzada and Suleman were known to many of you, and I thank each and everyone who prayed for them and supported us during this incredible, difficult time. As we bear this tragedy, please also remember and pray for the soul lost with them. Hamish, PH, and Stockton. Thank you once again for joining this dua and for all your support. Just remember them, how they were. Fighting ne karo, loving karo. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. You truly are an